Learning is remembering. A guy named Socrates, that you may have heard of, said that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be very upfront and honest with you. If you look at my resume, I don't have these long pages of publications. I don't have an NIH grant, a CIA grant, whatever. I don't have any grants. I don't have a lab. I don't have a research facility. I don't have any of that stuff. All I got is the ability to read and think. That's all I got. And let me tell you, all we're going to do today, in order for you to learn something, at least when I'm talking, is all I need you to do is to remember. Because all we're going to do is go over science and physiology. Everybody in here took a science and physiology, science and physiology course? All I'm going to get you to do is to remember it. I'm going to tell you everything that I show you here today, you have seen before. You have probably taken a test on it. Hopefully you passed the test, but if not, we'll just review it and you got by somehow. So, but it's just a few things that you need to remember. Okay? So in order for you to learn today, all that's going to be required is remembering. Now, again, I'm going to be very honest with you. Again, I told you I don't have any publications, any grants or anything, because I don't have any new information to present. To be very honest with you, I have not had an original thought since about 1984. Okay? When I got out of medical school, 86, when I got out of medical school, the last time I had an original thought. So everything that I'm going to tell you today has already been written down by somebody else. Okay? All right. So we're going to start remembering. Well, the first thing we're going to remember, because he said this really started out with females and their hormones. So the first thing we got to remember is what makes a woman different from a man. And what makes a woman different from a man is that they can reproduce and they have a menstrual cycle. So if we're going to talk about female hormones, we need to understand the menstrual cycle. Now, I was in Cincinnati and spoke to about 100 lay people. And I speak to lay people all the time, and I make them honorary gynecologists. And I tell them I can make you an honorary gynecologist in 4 slides in 5 minutes. Now, what I usually do is I put these 4 bullet points on 4 separate slides. But knowing that you guys are highly trained professionals, I put all 4 of the bullet points on 1 slide because I figure you can comprehend it. But in these 4 bullet points, I'm going to teach you, and I teach lay people more than I learned after a 4-year residency. And here are the 4 bullet points. Estrogen is dominant the first 2 weeks, and estrogen stimulates growth. Progesterone should be dominant the second 2 weeks. Progesterone stimulates development and slows growth. So you have growth and you have development, because that's how nature works. I'm going to give you 2 examples. Like I said, I want to make sure that I meet my time constraints, so I'm going to give you 2 examples real quickly. My father, I told you he was a minister, he passed away about 17 years ago. But I remember this, is that he came home one day with a peach tree, and we went into the backyard and we planted that peach tree. And that was one of those father-son moments, you know, like I say, I'm 49 and I still remember that. But I also remember that the next morning after I planted that peach tree, I couldn't wait to get up so I could pick those peaches and cut them up and put them in my cornflakes. And so I came back in very disappointed. My dad said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "There's no peaches on the tree." He said, "Son, don't you know that that tree has to grow for 7 years before it's ever going to develop any peaches?" He said, "Now, if it doesn't develop any peaches, then we got to cut the thing down because it's not going to be worth anything. But we have to wait and let it grow, then we expect development." Now, I'm going to give you another example that's even more recent. This is my son who just went off to college. He, between age 12 and 13, really about a 6-month period, he grew about 6 inches, and his foot grew from a size 9 to a size 13. Okay, now I'm not saying it was 9.5, 10, 10.5, 12. We bought size 9 shoes. We bought size 13 shoes. Okay? It's like, did he go away for 2 years? No, we got 9 shoes, we got 13 shoes. Okay? So he grew incredible amount in about 6 months. Now that was when he was 13. He's 18 now. And we are anxiously awaiting his further mental development to match his growth. I hope it's like a peach tree that's going to come in 7 years, but we're at year 6 now. We're at 5 or 6. And I'm just hoping that my wife doesn't kill him before he's able to develop, because she's threatened him. Actually, before we came up here, it was a few threats to his life. So hopefully he'll survive that long. But now, here's what I'm trying to get to. Would I want to do something to make my son grow more and not try and have opportunities for him to develop more? Would I want to only be interested in my son's physical growth, or should I be also concerned about his development? See, because I'm going to tell you, to make him grow, all I had to do was to have food in the refrigerator, and he grew. But the development is more time-consuming. It's fraught with more dangers. I have to have him exposed to the right people and all that stuff. So I have to pay a lot of attention to his development. Now, let me ask you this. Again, I would not want to give him something to make him grow without giving him an equal amount of something to make him develop, correct? So let me ask you this. In 1942, when we were intimidated, prodded, poked, and everything to say estrogen, or horse urine, was the fountain of youth because it had estrogen in it, what type of hormone is that? It stimulates growth, right? And if we had remembered that you don't want to stimulate growth, because what is uncontrolled, undifferentiated, or development? What does that mean? What is that the definition of? Growth without differentiation development. So if we had followed medical instincts and said, hey, wait a minute, I can't give something that makes something grow without making it develop. In 1942, we could have prevented a whole lot of stuff if only we had done what? Remembered. We didn't need a double-blind placebo-controlled study. We didn't need, all we had to do was to remember physiology. Okay? So, that's why I tell these patients I can make them honorary gynecologists. If they can understand not to stimulate growth without stimulating development, they know more than I did after a 4-year residency. Right?
That's right.
Okay? This is the menstrual cycle. I'm going to hurry along here. This is the uterus, tubes, and ovaries. This is what's going on in the endometrium. This is what's going on in the ovary, and this is the hormonal pattern. This is a 28-day cycle. So the